Welcome to Modeling Mondays, and in this session I won't actually be showing a time lapse of me creating the model. What I will be showing, however, is a time lapse of my progress. I actually created this model while I was learning Maya, so I did not record the process. However, I did save my progress in increments, so I'll be going through some of the files and showing you what my thought process was like throughout the different stages. Now I created a simple rig and I animated this character. I did a bit of lip syncing, and the audio is actually from the Avengers Age of Ultron trailer, so I do not own the audio, obviously, but I just did it to test out the lip syncing, and I'm going to play the video right now so you can see.
You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change.
Now the lip syncing is not perfect, but this video really isn't about lip syncing, is it? So yeah. Now the modeling was done in Maya, and I'm a Blender guy, so I don't think I'll be using Maya unless I have to, because now when it comes to modeling I'm moving way faster in Blender because there are shortcut keys, while in Maya not so much, but Maya is still a powerful program, and when it comes to facial rigs and stuff like that, I find the process much easier in Maya. Now this is where it all started. It started with some initial sketches, and basically I chose one sketch as the base to improve upon, which is this drawing right here. Here you can see the steps that I took and the changes that I made. As to why I made such changes, well, it's based on feedback that I got as well as what felt right at the time. So I started off with a basic mesh. It's always good to start off with very simple geometry and then build and build and build. So I created simple mesh, added some edge loops, more vertices, and constructed the face to what you see here. And then basically I constructed the entire face, cut it in half, and mirrored the face so that both sides actually are the same. Although typically nothing in real life is symmetrical, so there are times when I just create an entire face and whatever happens to one side, it may be different from the other, and I don't care, but in this case I wanted both sides to mirror each other, so I cut the face in half and mirrored it. When you're working on your models, it's always good to rotate around the model to see if you made any mistakes or you left something off, and as you continue to build. Now the thing is, you don't want to get too satisfied too early. Your model might look good, but you may have left a couple things off, so it's important to explore the model and observe your sketches, your model sheet of your character. When you're modeling, you would actually import your model sheet so that you can use it as a guide as to know where to go, and I actually did that, but you won't see the images in this recording. So let's discuss some of the challenges that I faced while creating this model. Again, I'm a Blender guy, so getting used to the Maya shortcuts were a big challenge, because in Blender, to rotate an object you press R, to scale you press S, and to grab you press G. Now in Maya it's WER, which it's kind of, I don't know why they assigned those buttons to scale, rotate, and move, but hey, it took a while to get used to, so that threw me off a bit, and the fact that I kept having to go to the shelves to get what I needed. Although I do love that everything is organized on the shelves and very, very easy to find, so I can't take that away from Maya. I really do like that about Maya, but it's a bit tedious to actually have to keep going to the shelves. Now I know that I can create a custom menu and put all the items that I use regularly on that custom menu, so it's everything is within that area and I can easily access it. But I just figured having the use of shortcut keys would make my modeling life much faster. And in Blender itself, I depend a lot on shortcut keys. I don't think I could do anything in Blender without using a shortcut key. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if I even know where certain things are located. I just know the shortcut, right? So there's a shortcut pretty much for almost every and anything in Blender. I guess I'm a bit spoiled, from using Blender, so that's why switching over to Maya was, it took some getting used to. Now, while this was not necessarily the first model that I've created in Maya, I was still learning, so that decreased my modeling time significantly. Another thing that placed me at a disadvantage was the fact that I kept having to use the Alt key in combination with the mouse to perform stuff like zoom, pan, tilt, stuff like that. For a while I kept using the Blender shortcut keys, so it was like I was a bit confused. But that will happen if you're using multiple programs to do your work. Now back to the model. Eventually I chose to give him a beard and some hair on his head, but I scrapped that idea because I was not familiar with Maya's sculpting tools, and I had to sculpt if I decided to go along with it, I had to sculpt the hairlines, and I couldn't do that in Maya. So I thought about using ZBrush, but I did not have a copy of ZBrush at the time, so I decided against that and I scrapped the entire idea. And I'm glad I did, because on the model sheet, on the final image of the model sheet, his head was bald anyway, so it was really a waste of time, and he looks better with a bald head. I modeled some teeth using some basic cubes. Now I completely freestyled this section because I didn't really create any concept art or a model sheet to go off of, and I think it turned out really well, at least well enough to be used. Although thinking back, using a reference would have made my life much easier. Therefore, always use a reference when you're creating your models, unless you really don't care. And I thinking back, I don't think at the time I really cared how his teeth looked. I wasn't being graded on his teeth or anything like that, so yeah. So eventually I got to a point where I was comfortable with the way the model looked, and I gave him a neck and a shoulder. Then after that I started the rigging process, adding joints, binding the joints to the model, etc, creating shape keys. I won't get into the details, but yeah, I did all that and created the rig, created the controls, and then I created the animation that you saw at the beginning of the video. Now let me wrap up this video because I'm sure I sound very boring, but overall the most valuable thing that I took from learning Maya was that when you spend long hours around the computer, you will get hungry, so make sure you get something to eat. No, I'm just kidding. I basically learned how to use Maya, and it was a good experience. Now I know if I ever have a project that I need to use Maya for, I would know how to help myself, so that's good. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, please subscribe, and I will see you definitely in the next video.